Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the US Capitol building. If you've joined us today for the insurrection, please make sure you pick up a promotional leaflet on the way in, stay inside the safety cordons at all times, and if you get lost, speak to one of our Capitol Police officers. They'll be sure to point you in the right direction.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Another early morning here at the airport, but we have got to talk about this one. The chief of police at the U.S. Capitol ratioing Nancy Pelosi and blowing the whistle on the Fed-surrection, bringing the hot Fed-surrection tea against Nancy and going viral for it. This is Chief Stephen Sund. He was the Capitol Hill police chief during January 6th. He spent 30 years on the Capitol Hill police force. He knows it better than anyone. He knows the protocol better than anyone. He's somebody who has personally been on our program a number of times and is an impeccable witness to the events of January 6th. When President Trump ordered the National Guard into Washington, D.C. yesterday in order to begin to solve the hellscape, crime-ridden, sunken, and failed city of Washington, D.C.'s problem and refederalize it, Nancy Pelosi decided to shriek and scream. And here's what she said. Donald Trump delayed the National Guard on January 6th when our Capitol was under violent attack and lives were at stake. Now he's activating the D.C. Guard to distract from his incompetent mishandling of tariffs, healthcare, education, and immigration, just to name a few blunders. So Nancy Pelosi clearly using ChatGPT to write her tweets. There are so many reasons why this makes no sense. But hey, let's move along. Nancy Pelosi's tweet did some numbers. Hey, listen, it was seen by 4 million people, and it got 20,000 likes, and it got 6,000 reposts. All right, resistance. Twitter is back. But then you'll notice down here the first comment. Here we go. This is from Chief Stephen Sund, that, of course, everyone knows worked as the chief Capitol Police on January 6th. Here's his response to Nancy Pelosi. Ma'am, it is long past time to be honest with the American people. On January 3rd, I requested the National Guard assistance but your Sergeant at Arms denied it. Under federal law, U.S. Code 1970, I was prohibited from calling them in without specific approval. That same day, Carol Corbin at the Pentagon offered National Guard support, but I was forced to decline because I lacked the legal authority. On January 6th, while at the Capitol and under siege, and despite my repeated calls, your Sergeant at Arms again denied my urgent requests for over 70 antagonizing minutes, running it up the chain for your approval. When I needed assistance, it was denied. Yet, when it suited you, you ordered fencing topped with concertina wire and surrounded the U.S. Capitol with thousands of armed National Guard troops. Boom. This has actually ratioed Nancy Pelosi. You can see 9,000 reposts, 32,000 likes. And it's not the only time he posted it. He posted it up here as a quote tweet. It's the same message. And this did 21,000 reposts, millions of views, 62,000 likes, and destroyed. This is a proper nuclear ratio. Nancy Pelosi getting ratioed anyway here, so 6,000 reposts and 19,000 likes. So Nancy Pelosi on her original tweet getting completely and totally ratioed. But the Capitol Police chief coming over the top and saying that Nancy Pelosi again and again and again denied National Guard support. And by the way, I was 100% in favor of that. The reason why is because I personally believe and know as a matter of absolute fact, because they've charged BLM members, they've charged Antifa members, that there were a number of people that were agitators, either paid by the feds or there on behalf of left-wing groups in order to malign and entrap J6ers that were peaceful that day. We know this because of the criminal records. We know this because many of them are serving jail times right now. That there were people that were there that were paid agitators, again, either feds or working with left-wing groups in order to sow discord and behave criminally that day while they were wearing MAGA hats in order to malign our entire America First movement. And so I am totally in favor of National Guard there. If the National Guard was there, then everybody would have simply peacefully gone to the United States Capitol. If you just open the entire building and allow for chaos, then you allow for bad actors and bad elements to sneak in and to then entrap all of the peaceful people. And so, again, everybody would be in favor of this. Kash Patel was chief operations at the Pentagon at that time. Kash Patel has said that he authorized the National Guard, that President Trump personally authorized the National Guard. It's Nancy Pelosi who's actually on camera right here in this clip saying that I denied the National Guard. It's my problem. January 6th is my fault. Here, listen to this.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
That is not a question of how they have. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
Anyway, an amazing day to see Nancy Pelosi just get absolutely burned to the ground here in front of everyone. Chief Stephen Sund has been on our program. We've done an interview with him before, and he'll be on our program today talking about this. He is an absolute patriot. Here's what he had to say the first time describing Nancy Pelosi's actions on January 6th.
A second set here. In a press conference on January 7th, Speaker Pelosi called for your resignation on national television. Speaker Pelosi also stated that she had not talked to you since the initial breach of the Capitol. But according to your transcribed interview, you were on the phone with Speaker Pelosi a few times. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, that is correct. I spoke to Speaker Pelosi 3 times that evening, and she went on national TV and said I'd never spoken to her, but I spoke to her 3 times. The three times were the first time when I went over to brief Vice President Pence at the secure location. I'd called House Sergeant Arms Irving, told him I was going over to brief the Vice President. I was also going over to do a personal assessment of the Capitol. At that point, things were getting under control. Went over there, briefed him on when we can get them back into chambers with, Mr. Irving being fully aware. He said he wanted to get Speaker Pelosi on the phone. He made a phone call from his cell phone at approximately 5:34, where I first briefed Speaker Pelosi. The second call was when I left that location. As I was walking away, I met up with Mr. Stenger, and we started walking over to the Senate to go brief the Senate. When Jennifer Hemingway, I believe it was Jennifer Hemingway, handed me the cell phone, and it was Emily Barrett's cell phone calling her, and it was Speaker Pelosi on the other line. This is my second call with Speaker Pelosi, questioning the information I'd given to Vice President Pence about when we can get back into chambers. I assured her that information was correct. I could get them back into chambers by 7 p.m., and the call ended. That was call number 2. Call number 3 was 6:25 p.m. I was over at the Senate from the secure location, from where the Senate had been sequestered, and on a cell phone using Robert Karam's cell phone, they dialed leadership, who was over off-site at a secure location, and I briefed all of leadership of the plans to get them back into chambers. That would have been call number 3 with Speaker Pelosi.
So you didn't have 1 call, you didn't have 2 calls, you had 3 calls. So Speaker Pelosi's comments that she didn't speak to you are inaccurate.
That is correct, sir.